Hello again everyone and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we have a 2v2 which is one of the qualifiers for the lead up to the tournament that is coming up on January. On the right here we have Tomruler and a name that's going to be difficult to pronounce, XzlcenfirezX. I'm just going to call him Fire. And on the left side here we have Goopy in red playing Armada and Zeke playing Cortex in yellow. So I have planned a couple more matches on this map for the qualifiers. There are quite a lot of different people who have played on this map, and we'll see some interesting games taking place. Now on the left side here, the red team, Goopy with a very high OS here of 54 and Zeke of a very low OS 14. Now Zeke's inexperience here may be a bit of a problem. Goopy's going to have to try and carry this game hard. Zeke does know some initial build strats, as we can see with the double metal extractor and LLT here to defend and then moving forward. Whereas on the right side, Tomruler and Fire here seem to be working together to just push out a single factory rather than going for multiple factories. Interesting strategy. It does mean that they can better use their economy together and push out more units. Maybe their plan is to overwhelm the enemy as quick as possible, which isn't a bad idea. However, you do give up quite a bit in the way of expansion, because you've only got your factory can only build one thing at a time, and you're giving up the ability to spread out more by doing that. Now Goopy trying to just block off this bottom side mexes, give a little bit of cover with that scout there, and Tomruler and Fire both yet to actually leave their base. Also idling with an engineer there as well. Both of these players are middle ranked, 31 and 21 OS. So they're not new to the game. They have a rough idea of what they're doing at least. But Goopy being Goopy, he is definitely one of the top players. So it'll be hard for them to deal with him. If they can take the Zeke out early and make it a 2v1, then that is going to be a good way for them to win. Now, as normal, when it comes to Comet Catcher, we see most of the fighting generally take place along this middle section here. This part is the most heavily contested, with both players generally heading towards this spot and then fighting over the middle. Often we don't see the bottom and top side being used here, mostly for flanking maneuvers, if at all. But a lot of units actually coming out here from Tom. But as we mentioned, no expansion at all from them. They're literally just pumping out as many units as possible, and they're going to hope to try and maybe grab an early commander or base push here. Now, it's not going to work if you give up all your units to a D-gun, as Goopy manages to take out a good chunk of tanks there. What you would normally do, I guess, in this instance is gift the units to someone else. So whoever has the better micro would be gifted all those units, and in this instance I'm guessing the idea would be Tom has the better micro here, as he is able to has the highest OS. But right now he doesn't actually have that much in the way of more units. He's only got 9 tanks there, which there's 10 opponent units there as well. So with just a single factory, they haven't made effective use of that metal yet, and all of these units of Tom's are now going to get mopped up very quickly. And we'll see how well this single factory build is actually going to go for them. Fire basically just donating all of his metal to Tom, You can see he's basically got no metal. It wouldn't surprise. I don't think the sliders match. I'm pretty sure he's probably got his share slider right down to the bottom, sharing every single bit of metal he has. He is moving out with his commander now, and Zeke's also doing the same thing, moving along that top side with his commander. This could be impactful though, as Tom manages to get through a little bit. If he follows around, we may get some metal extractors taken out here. Now, incisors do have a longer range than blitzes, so if he can keep up the speed, he will get some economy damage. He decides to turn around though, which, considering there's an LLT at the bottom, is probably a good call. And these are going to get mopped up without too much more hassle. That has put Goopy on the back foot a little bit. And he's just trying to chase down Zeke, this last unit there, which isn't going to do too much. And as we zoom out here, we can see that this area down the bottom is basically no man's land, but Goopy, you could argue, is in control of this side. The area here for Zeke is a bit open at the moment, and as we see, Tom actually going to make the most out of that gap. And surprisingly, this Goopy going for a D-gun on the very nice D-gun there, managing to get 2 metal extractors for the price of 1. And so far, the single factory strategy is paying off for Tom. There is a large group of forces at the top here, which is only growing stronger as it goes by. Fire has just kind of made Tom aware, hey, you've got all these units. And that has forced Zeke now to have to move his units up from the bottom. Goopy doesn't have many tanks left at the moment, only 5 blitzes left. But saying that, we quickly click on an engineer. There is 1.2k metal there that's just free roam for him to take. Now, what is surprising is we're not seeing Tom and Fire transition to tanks, like full tanks, like blitzes or stouts, for example. Not blitzes, sorry. There we go. Brutes. But if they've got the metal of 2 players here, they could be going for more heavy tanks. We can see Tom and Fire both here having a lot of metal on the table. If they transition to like better tanks to actually be able to push through, this might be where they can make the difference. They've got the extra metal, having only 1 factory. It would make sense for them to do that. Whereas both Goopy and Zeke here, both running in their own factories, they are limited into the metal that they can spend. Obviously, the right team has twice the amount of metal for a single factory. Zeke with a great D-gun there. Sorry, unfortunately we missed it in the zoom, but Zeke and Fire very close to each other now. And they are going to contest that Requiem field to the north. 1.6k metal there. And Goopy building a forward bot lab. Fire now deciding to get his own factory up as well. Although changing his mind, going for a D-gun on that LLT. Unfortunately, it would have been a bit late, and there's 2 LLTs there now, so that is not a good idea. Zeke grouping up his units. That's just asking to be D-gunned. Fire giving a lot of health there away for nothing. And that's not good. Bottom side here, we see the blitzes of Goopy managing to surround a force of incisors here, doing a substantial amount of damage. And Tom is not able to pay attention to these units long enough, and they get flanked and mopped up very quickly. Goopy's commander is right near Tom. Tom very exposed right now. No units to support him, and being on his own, just trying to build some LLTs to cover him. But this is not looking good, as the blue and green team here are very, very short on units. as they seem to be transitioning up to using some Janices on the front here, trying to snipe Zeke's commander. And we do see a transition to Brutes from Tom. However, Tom is losing a lot of his extended eco here. And that is not going well. As we quickly check the statistics here, we can see that Team Goopy has done a substantial amount of damage here, 53k damage. And even with only having a single factory for a long time, Tom and Fire did not outproduce them in terms of units. When we look at metal produced, we can see that Team Goopy here has produced about 6k metal more than Team Tom, and 50k more energy as well. And as we quickly were looking at the stats there, unfortunately we're not paying attention, and Fire's forward factory goes down, but Fire managing to last a little bit longer. Not long enough though, as a massive force of units from Goopy come up to sweep up and take out Fire. Zeke moving his commander in, very ballsy there, but he's ready to get the reclaim of that commander. And there we go. Now with Zeke in full control of that reclaim field, ready to get that commander wreck that's worth 1,250 metal. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Tomruler's comm is only at 10% health, very low. This is not looking good for the right team here, as most of the eco of them have been cleared up. All the expansion is gone. And Fire now with no commander, no units, and no factory. Basically out the game. At this point, he should just be gifting all of he's got probably to Tom. And I think Tom is maybe just planning on maybe giving up. No, still going strong, but Tom not going to be able to stay alive for very long versus this group of units here. He needs to get some great D-guns. He doesn't actually see it, but Goopy knows he's there. And Tom's comm unable to cloak. Not that that would matter because he's in radar vision right now. Goopy instead sending his forces to defend against these tanks here. And now these tanks will do a good job. He should maybe mix in some pounders as well, which are these ones here, anti-swarm stuff. They have a large volume of impulse damage, which is knockback, and that will stop these units getting close and slow them down. The only issue is pounders are very slow. But Tom messing up here, blobbing up all his units in one spot. Needs to keep them moving, just letting the enemy get free kind of flanking damage. But Zeke here, pushing along the top. Zeke actually, although very underrated OS-wise, has done a great job this game. He is spread out to the top here, taken full control of this north section. Unfortunately missed 4 mexes, but managed to hold his own against Fire. Had some help from Goopy, of course, but still managed to do a very good job. So well played, Zeke. Done very good. Unfortunately, the number of Goopy's forces here now starting to massively outnumber Tom, and the gamble of going for a single factory is unfortunately starting to wear down Tom, and it hasn't paid off. And meanwhile, we can see these forces at the bottom here going around to flank Goopy with a large amount of res bots, just resurrecting everything. And you can see a stream of stouts coming out here from Goopy, just going right into Tom's base. And unfortunately, Goopy is able to produce them at a far faster rate. And here we see this attacking force that's coming into the back of Tom's base. And this is going to be the end for Tom's base. Well played, both players. I mean, it was a bit of a OS disadvantage, I would argue, from Tom and Fire's point of view. But you guys gave it a good try, and you didn't give up. even after you lost the commander. So, you know, well played, both of you guys. You did very well considering who you were going up against. And as we end the game, here's the stats screen for any of you guys that want to look at it. Just pause the video on this point. But thank you all for watching, guys. I hope this was interesting for you. Don't forget to check out the tournament on the 27th of January. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.